welcome again. This is episode 33 of Behind the Screen. It is technically season 6, though. Season 6, episode 2, in fact. We are still dealing with Frostlands of Fenric content. It's timed out quite nicely, actually, because there is a Scardlands Kickstarter happening right this very moment. It started yesterday, so there's still the best part of a month on that. But I'll get into that shortly. Before I get into the usual preamble of disclaimers and stuff, this stream is going to be a bit more rushed than usual, time constraint wise, purely because I have no scope to overrun. So I'm trying to finish a bit earlier for something that I will talk about also shortly. Okay, I need to do something real quick, but if you want to watch this video after the fact to recap something that you're interested in or whatever, you do need to for a week. Afterwards, you will have to be a subscriber to the Twitch channel to do so. You can subscribe in one of many ways. There are 3 tiers of subscription. You can also buy subscriptions in advance, or you can use a Prime Gaming subscription, which I am just about to do. I'm going to click the button, and boom, it is that easy. I have now resubscribed to the channel for like the 10th month in a row. If you're worried about there we go, there's the pop-up. If you're worried about... 11 months, cool. Skip this month's alert, okay. If you are worried about Prime Gaming subs being different to normal subscriptions, don't. They're exactly the same for any streamer. It works out as the lowest tier of subscription, a tier 1 subscription. But the channel gets half of the sub as usual. The subscription fee, I should say. Okay, so standard disclaimers. I am disabled. I do have muscle tics that can result in twitching, slurred speech, and stuttering, depending on where the muscle tic affects. Generalized, unfortunately, so it can affect the entire body. And I do also struggle with multiple trains of thought, so I will try to finish one before hopping onto another. I will also, as ever, try to acknowledge a question when it is asked, and then get back to it after I finish the current train of thought. Please do take full advantage of this statement here about asking anything about playing and running Onyx Path role-playing games. I can talk about role-playing games in general, obviously. I'm not limited to Onyx Path games, but as this is the Onyx Path channel, I figure we should probably have some, boundaries. Although Scardlands being 5e OGL does open it up slightly. Yes, so Scardlands, 5e OGL, what have you. Scardlands is a campaign setting game line that uses the framework of the Dungeons & Dragons 5th edition SRD, System Reference Document, under the OGL, Open Gaming License, that allows content creators, developers, what have you, to use a slimmed down version of the D&D 5th edition rules for their own purposes. It's not everything, not all the spells are included, not all the monsters are included, not all the subclasses are included, and there's only 1 feat. But it's enough to give you a good start, and using the 5e SRD in conjunction with the Scardlands Player's Guide and the Frostlands of Fenric book, you will be able to play games set in Fenric, the Roof of the World. This specific document is a supplement focused on subclasses, player races, and maybe a couple of spells and monsters for Fenric as well, just to show how I go about doing that kind of thing. As ever, because this is a community content show, and I'm not... I cannot stress this enough, not a freelancer for Onyx Path on any Fenric project, or anything that I discuss here is entirely my own opinion, is entirely from a community content point of view, and don't expect to find any of this in the official published material at any point. I'm a fan with a platform. Segueing into official content, however, there is a Kickstarter going on, but if you aren't aware of the Monday meeting notes, highly recommend checking them out. It's the weekly update about the state of Onyx Path, really, and their Kickstarters, their project timelines, etc., etc. This week's highlights include the sweet wraparound cover for the Dead Man's Rust, the Dead Man's Rust Kickstarter, Dead Man's Rust being a levels 1 through 10 campaign for Scardlands, full of subclasses, monsters, setting information, magic items, player races, loads of good stuff. There's a lot of Dead Man stuff, promotional stuff happening now, as you can well imagine, including immediately after this stream. So usually, obviously this is 9 a.m. EST. Usually there's a huge gap until 7 p.m. EST when the next show starts. immediately after this stream at 11 a.m. EST, there is the Pathcast crew are playing some are playing through some Dead Man's Rust content, I believe GM'd by the developer, Travis Legg himself. So if you're interested in this material, definitely stick around for that, because he knows more about the setting than I do, being as he's the developer for the game line, or the developer or something. I don't know the exact terminology. But there's some sweet art from Dead Man's Rust in the Monday meeting notes. There's a list of possible Kickstarters, a couple of Trinities, Victorian Age Mage 20, some Pugmire books, Exalted books, a couple of Scion books, all that good stuff. More sweet art. Cool, more sweet art. Oh, the Wolf Newt sale is still going on if you're interested in picking up some cheap PDFs or hardbacks on Drive-Thru RPG and IPR. Oh, no, they're right around the corner. Never mind. What else? There's the Kickstarter itself. Again, I do not understand why the Kickstarter link is never in the Monday meeting notes, but the Kickstarter link, if you want to back Dead Man's Rust, is there. I backed it this morning. There is already some backup previews out. If you want to play an undead player race, definitely pick it up. I'm also extremely excited about a wizard subclass that can summon more than one familiar. Behold my army of fairy dragons. Anyway, loads of media in the media section about Scarred Lands, as you can probably imagine. The streaming schedule for the week, both text-based and graphic-based. Videos that have gone up on the OP channel on YouTube recently. You can pick up both Gauntlet and Dagger of Spyrgos if you have no idea about Scarred Lands but are interested. You can pick up the virtual tabletop versions of the Gauntlet of Spyrgos and the Dagger of Spyrgos as introductory kind of campaigns for Astral, which is a pretty good virtual tabletop I have used. It's a bit more streamlined than Roll20, let's say. Also, Yugman's Guide to Gelspad Part 6 and the Scarred Lands Creature Collection digital assets packs for virtual tabletops are going live this week, so this is a good week for Scarred Lands content, turns out. Who knew? And then there's way down at the bottom, you've got the where the various projects are in their development life cycle. I apologise, it's a lot to get through, it's a lot to take in. I always try to cover the Monday meeting notes, though, for people who may not have time to read them, but listen to this in the background while doing other things. Okay, I'm going to have a sip of my tea. That's a bit warm. I'm going to have a drink of my water. I wish I had a Scarred Lands mug for that. And then we're going to get started. Hi, would this be your first product on the Slurician Vault? This will be my first project on the Slurician Vault. I have an adventure up on the Storypath Nexus already, and in terms of experience with the rule set, I've been playing 5th edition since it came out, and I have my own Patreon focused on developing 5th edition compatible material. But yes, this will be my first thing on the Slurician Vault. It will go up at some point. I'm really pressed for time because I juggle like 3 different projects constantly. No, thank you for asking. Right, so that's the Monday meeting notes, that's the Kickstarter. Yes, so last time I went off on quite a tangent about how tying mechanics of a class into the narrative of a class is important to me and how you can do that in various ways. Would you believe that's going to take up a large part of today's stream as well? Mostly because we're just doing subclasses. We're going to get right back in. I will. Good morning, Plastic Age Plays. Shouldn't you be preparing for like an hour and a half's time? Last time we covered I teased the Geist and Ursid player races. Who knows when we'll get onto these. We did the Barbarian. This is going to be full of typos and stuff that needs tweaking, so don't worry about that. This is entirely first draft material. When it goes up on the vault, it'll be, in theory, polished enough to be playable. And fun, that's important. What was I saying? Yeah, so we did the Barbarian last time. We did like a support-focused Barbarian, but supporting in already prepped. Well, I mean, there is a book coming out, I hear, that's 95% complete. Focused in like helping other people fight better. Obviously, there are other support tactics you can go with taking damage from people or healing people, but this is a Barbarian that helps other people fight better and works better as a team rather than an individual warrior. We're resuming work on the Bard today. We're going to continue with the Bard, specifically a Bard college focused on like dealing with the polar night of Fenrilik. If you weren't here last time or you don't know, Fenrilik is a polar continent. It has like 6 months of sun, 6 months of darkness. There is a Bard college in the Frostlands of Fenrilik book that is focused on all about, hey, let's all be bright and happy and cheerful, and we'll get through this together. And this Bard college is like, the world is dark, the night is never ending, and we need to be disciplined to see it through. But there we go. Who said bards have to be happy? First of all, however, also recap. Please remember that I have copied a lot of these I've copied all of these class tables from my. That's not the cleric table. That's why. Oh no, there it is. I have copied my. I've copied all of the class tables from my 5e OGL stuff, so the names don't make sense, and some of the fiction won't make sense either. Love it, Black Metal Bard. Exactly. It's hopefully going to be cool, in a different way to the College Whispers. Don't pay attention to any of the class features named in the tables. They are simply there as holdovers from the tables I copy pasted into this Google Docs document. I'm going to zoom in as well so that people can see after I finish clearing this table. To save on time, that's the wrong button. Wait, no, 125. To save on time, I have sorted out the domain spells already, so I'm just going to plug those into the table so I don't have to do that at another point. Oh, hey, what, Travis? Why are you in chat? I'm assuming Sluritian Vault content can use Scarred Land spells. If not, I will have to go back to the drawing board on 2 of these spells. Just going to copy these over though. So as I've mentioned, it uses the SRD, the System Reference Document, and some of the spells are changed. Oh yes, oh good. Are changed for the SRD. So people who are familiar with D&D 5th edition, odds are you've heard of Lehman's Tiny Hut, but because Lehman is termed product identity, which means you cannot use the Wizard Lehman in any OGL material that you make for anything, the spell has just been named Tiny Hut, which I think is cuter in many ways. Oh, that's good, because I gave the Cleric Holy Beacon and Holy Beacon's answer, and I was kind of panicking that I'd have to go back to the drawing board. Oath spells, there we go. And then... you can use any OGL spells as long as you're appropriately crediting the OGL page. Cool. Well, I was probably just going to include the OGL. Is there... I was just going to dump the OGL at the back of the document when I'm done, if that's fine. I didn't get time to do this yesterday, chat, when I was sorting out the spells themselves. But choosing spells for subclasses can take a while, so I wanted to get that done in advance. And then when we... Hey, Rosie Rexit. Hope you're doing well. When I get down to the domains and stuff, I'll explain why the spells have been chosen. I've got titles for this very situation, so I don't have to scroll. Also, hello, Plaid Weasel. I've been meaning to say this, Travis. The FAQ on the Sluritian Vault says you can only use Gelspad. You can only produce Gelspad content, and also Gelspad is misspelled. Certainly that was the case last time I checked, but someone might want to change that now that Fenrilik's out. You don't want to confuse people. Okay, so Bards. Bards are one of my... Well, Bard is my favourite class, closely followed by Artificer, so... I feel very strongly about getting Bard colleges correct. Artificer, obviously not in the OGL. It's being updated, cool. But Artificer not in the OGL, not technically available for... well, not legally available for Solution Vault content, but there's no saying you can't make your own version of the class. I'm sure that will be fine. That's, again, I am a fan. Please don't quote me on that. Okay, so, Inured to Despair. Didn't have your glasses on. I thought the monk archetype was Way of the Hedgehog. You know, Plaid Weasel. I want to make that now. Hang on, I'm gonna note that down. There we go. I might actually make that as like a free thing for my Patreon. Honestly, some of my like favorite ideas come from typos I make. So I'm happy someone else has misread it and given me an idea. Anyway, so Inured to Despair. What level was this? 6th level. I've got. Oh right, I should probably recap. So, Bard subclasses generally have a way of using their bardic inspiration, which is a class feature to help like support people, and then something else at 3rd level. However, I decided that both of the Bard features would use the bardic inspiration just in different ways. So, Unwavering Resolve is an ally support thing. Helps them with spell casting, gives them advantage on concentration checks, Way of the Hedgehog, gotta go fast. Oh god. Unarmored movement increase. Advantage on inspiration check. On concentration check, I might change that. I might say that they can like double the bardic inspiration value. I don't know. Or you can roll bardic inspiration to reduce the amount of time it takes to cast a ritual. Rituals taking 10 minutes plus the spell's casting time itself. To a minimum of 1. Get increased speed and ability to tumble as a form of combat. Spin dash, be like a charge attack. So that's the ally support, and then isolate. You can expend the usage of the bardic inspiration and effect, and a creature you choose cannot benefit from any kind of external spell, ability, feature, etc., until the effect is worn off. Trying to draw on the discipline side of things for the spellcasting, and also the sense of utter isolation and loneliness that I have, in my brief research, read that people who experience the polar night can feel. So that's anyway, beginning and from. My mouse wheel is broken. I need a new mouse, but it's only the wheel that's broken. At 6th level, your understanding is the wrong word. Is it just a one shot? Because if it's not a one shot, it probably shouldn't be a slaughter. Your experience with the long polar night has given you the ability to deal with most of its effects. Mastery could also work, I guess. I might use Master in Peerless Discipline. Resistance to psychic damage, and are immune to the. I think frightened. I think conditions just get. Hang on 1 second. I don't think they get italicized. I think they're just left as they are. But I have the PHP on the floor next to me, so I can check real quick. If I go to the, I guess, attack section, because that mentions prone. There's some weird, as ever, when writing any kind of content, you want it to resemble the official stuff as much as possible, so you can kind of slot it in, and no one kind of, with as little difficulty as possible. Yeah, conditions aren't italicized. To that end, I highly recommend checking out style guides and things like that if you are unaware of what style guides are. Gain resistance to psychic. What? Damage and are immune to the frightened condition. See, that is relatively powerful, but I don't know if it's kind of like the oomph it needs to be. So, like, the mechanic here is that the isolation doesn't affect you in any way. And I'm just trying to figure out if I should tie this to helping other people get over it as well. Like, you use reaction to grant advantage on saving throws versus the frightened condition. Woo, working from home. I mean, obviously I do that all the time. But then again, resistance to psychic damage, like very few things are resistant to psychic damage. I mean, very few things deal psychic damage as well, for that matter. But the frightened condition itself is kind of annoying. It is reasonably powerful. So just cancelling that out, I don't know. Maybe people can use a body conspiration to add the results save against being frightened. Yeah, that's another option. Ooh, auras. That is a good point. I do like the aura idea. We'll go with the aura idea. Let's say any creature that satisfies the requirements of your body conspiration feature. So it's not going to require an expenditure of body conspiration, but still ties it in with that feature. Any creature satisfies the requirements of your body conspiration feature that is within 10 feet of you. So, could grant advantage, could grant a flat bonus. I think the advantage. Yeah. Obviously, this is all subject to being changed anyway. There's within 10 feet of you may make saving throws against the frightened condition. Advantage or reroll. Well, the thing is, a lot of the time you get to reroll at the end of your turn anyway. A lot of, I think the vast majority of effects that give you the frightened condition allow you to, obviously in 5e, I'm less good on the Scarred Land side of things, but I know the rules and the underlying mechanics. A lot of things that give the frightened condition allow you to reroll at the end of your turn, because it is such a powerful condition. I think actually most conditions have a way to escape them, or to get rid of them in some way. If it's a reroll that if it were, So my thought processes are, because I try to explain the thought processes in this, like how I go about doing it. A reroll is generally going to be a reaction. Like use your reaction to grant someone else a reroll. That means it's 1 per turn. Advantage, anyone within 10 feet of you. Realistically speaking, like in most situations that the frightened condition occurs, it's probably going to be in combat. Realistically speaking, you're going to have like 2 party members within 10 feet of you. Or 2 allies, I should say. Don't assume party members. You could have allied NPCs. And I think if the narrative of the class is that it is a role model, someone to kind of not emulate, but learn from their experience and what they're saying about kind of the long night and the discipline required, I think kind of the highest number possible makes sense. And 2 or 3, which is like half a party, should be not too broken. I know I over-explain things, but I like to be perfectly clear because I talk quickly, and I know that some people might not understand my accent very well from conversations I've had with people on my own stream, or in actual real life, for that matter. Okay, Peerless Discipline. When a creature has Bardic Inspiration die, can use your skill proficiency. That's exactly what it sounds like. This is 14th level. This is something I've been toying around with on my Patreon, actually, is giving other people your skill proficiencies. I think it works pretty well. I've grown up listening to shows from the UK, so you're fine with the accent? Oh, good. This isn't my native accent. I taught myself out of that because it's just not a great accent. When you reach 14th level, your discipline inspires others. When a creature expends their a Bardic Inspiration die you gave to them on a skill check in which you are proficient. I'm going to capitalize the U for emphasis. Probably won't hear a strong French accent. Oh dear. On a skill check in which you are proficient, they may use your proficiency. Canadian say used to that too. That's like the best of both worlds then, right? Proficiency bonus in place. No. They may use your modifier in place of their own. Including expertise or any other bonus. When you reach 14th level, discipline inspires others. When a creature expends Bardic Inspiration die you gave to them on skill check in which you are proficient, they may use your modifier in place or including expertise or any other bonus. I think that works exactly as I want it to. Ability modifier or skill modifier. Here's the thing. You don't have to use the same ability with the skill every time, so that's the sticking point. Hang on 1 second. Just need to check if there's a specific wording on the sheet. Would you believe there isn't? It's in the introduction. Weapons, no. That doesn't help in any way. They never really name the number. Because the skill modifier is just the proficiency bonus with any applicable, multiplication or division. I guess just replace this with skill proficiency. Because I don't want them to be using the ability per se, just the proficiency itself. I think that worked out quite well. Does exactly what I want it to do. What about them use your charisma performance modifier in place of the check? Ooh. Does that work? The trouble is, they never really... Hang on, I may have looked in the wrong place. Playing the game. That's spells. I like how thin the playing the game chapter in the rulebook actually is. Ability scores modifiers, advantage, disadvantage, proficiency bonus. Ability checks. Whose bonuses? Your skill, but their ability. Yeah, because the book just treats them as two separate things: the ability modifier and the proficiency bonus. It never gives them one kind of discrete. Term. Well, that's mildly annoying. I thought this would be quite simple to resolve. Guess who was wrong and has two thumbs? This person. Oh, I see plastic edge paste. I gotcha. No, I like that. Yes. I will expand it to performance or persuasion, though, because most bards will have one of those two. That is an interesting way of thinking about it. Thank you. True. It is. Hang on. I need to vastly redefine my terms. Performance or charisma persuasion. Modify. Place of I guess their skill modifier? Yeah, I separate the two out in my head from ability check and skill check, purely because that's just how my brain organizes things, because I do sometimes just ask for like a strength check, which is totally viable and lots of people do. There we go. But that is correct. They never actually divide the two in the rules. Why not make your charisma bonus to place the regular ability bonus for a skill? That would have been an easy way of putting it. I think I'm going to leave it as is with performance or persuasion. Because if you have taken expertise in that, you're just going to be so much better. So, like, charisma caps out at 5 without magical assistance. But if you take expertise in that skill and you just become like super good at talking people through or keeping them calm or whatever, so they can actually do the task that they want to do, then that's like a plus 15 easily. That will like 12, 13. Anyway, just to clarify, they may add your proficiency, your performance or persuasion modifier to the roll in place of any other modifier. You love this mechanic? Which I'm sorry, because of the 20-second chat delay, I get confused sometimes. Place of any other modifier. I think that's slightly clearer. I think. Anyway. Cleric community domain. Okay, so if you can bring their communities together in quite the same way as clerics of this domain, whilst the original teachings of this domain are right, yeah, that was a typo I noticed yesterday. Teachers of this domain. In a flavor way, they use your inspiring body skill to inspire themselves to replicate your performance or persuasiveness. Exactly. It's not clear that expertise. Oh, right, yes. Yeah, I don't need this clause anymore. There we go. Because those modifiers or that's already built into those modifiers. Thank you for pointing that out in Stable Deus. I would probably have picked that up in, when I edit it, but I might not have done. Whilst the original teachers of this domain are a form of Ushidani, more and more non-Eschek or Eschek, however you pronounce it, have taken up the call of the community. Many of these clerics insist they have faith in nothing more than the soul of their community or the beings they previously worshipped, believing that the only thing required to make it through the long cold winters is to keep the people strong and their hearts happy. But there are some who talk of a being that stalks their dreams and demands their worship. Which is like, maybe if you want, that's a story hook, if you have any community clerics. Obviously, the nature between the divine and mortals in Scardlands is fairly different to that in the assumed base D&D. Like the old community domain, I have never encountered a community domain. If I'm being honest, I mean, I never played a cleric in 4th edition, and I played a cleric for 3 sessions in 3.5. So I don't know. I'm sorry. I need to open my PDFs now. There we go. You know what? I'm just going to use the book for this. Have a quick refresh of what the first level cleric features are. I think they're largely flavoursome. You get domain spells, obviously. And then it looks like a skill proficiency. So divine spells, a skill proficiency or similar, and then a magical effect or cantrip. Sort of. Okay. 3.5. Yeah, I never encountered it, sorry. I am aware of one community domain. It's in Humblewood, published by Hitpoint Press. But I don't... I'm not using that to influence this in any way. This is going to be its own thing. Domain spells. What? Domain spells. Let's go with Community Watch and hang on 1 second. There's the domain spells. Create some space here. This would be heading 3. Nope, heading 2. Got it wrong. It happens. Prof in perception. Okay, so that's the skill, and let's go with I don't want to give them another cantrip, but let's go with like a pseudo magical effect. Oh, let's tie it in with Community Watch. You know what? Let's copy Peerless Discipline for that matter. Well, let's take inspiration from that, shall we say? Watchful. Allies can use perception, and this is just note taking, so that when I come back to this next time, if I'm finished by the end of the stream, I know what I'm talking about. All right, domain spells is technically like weird and out of the table, but it's there for now. Second level is Channel Divinity. Sixth level is either Channel Divinity or passive. We'll call this Tireless Guardian. Sorry, I should not allow the dead air to kind of drift on as it does. I think I don't want another channel divinity option. Although maybe. So far we've got the kind of protection of community. So let's build on that. So once the community is protected, it is then nurtured. So maybe it is another channel divinity option. Got to stay away from things like Heroes Feast, because that actually exists. Endless Banquet. There we go. Why not? I say endless. It's going to end, but so I should probably. I know that's spelled wrong, don't worry. For ease, I'm just going to put mobile, apparently. Mobile Guardian of Faith, question mark? One creature doesn't need to sleep, question mark. So I'm not sure which way to take that just yet. Also, Google, get out of here. I thought I dismissed you already before I started the stream. Apparently not. I've only just noticed. That's also not how you spell divinity. You fool! Also, that's supposed to be a colon, not a semicolon. And then Endless Banquet. So the trouble with touch typing is that very frequently I'll hit the keys in the wrong order. I do it all the time with passwords. Endless Banquet. Food for... Hang on, I just need to check something. I don't want to tread on the toes of existing effects. And I think what I was about to write out is just Heroes Feast. Oh, no, it isn't. Never mind. Food for 10 people. 10 hit points. Healing increased by X, whatever. That'll be decided later. Okay. Eighth level Cleric features. By and large, seem to be extra damage, which is great, because this is not that. Okay, so let us say shield the community. I'm gonna flip that on its head. Reaction. Creature gains resistance to damage. This is obviously all notes, so I'll polish this up. Attack until end of turn. Until start of turn. Start of turn. That's it. Creatures within 30 feet, if you can add wisdom modifier to AC. I was thinking that also. Like creatures within X feet of you can subtract your wisdom modifier of damage from each attack. Alright. 17th level. These are all just notes, obviously, subject to change when I get to them. 17th level is like the capstone of... Oh, no. You know what? Hang on, I just need to check something. I need to check the spell is in the SRD. Kind of like damage reduction? Yeah, the exact opposite of the usual... Fine, you know what? You know what, Adobe, if you want to be like that, I'm just going to open the PDF in my browser. Where's the SRD PDF? There it is. That's what I do to you, Adobe, when you don't want to work. I take it personally when Adobe doesn't work. I don't know if you can tell. I'm going to guess a page 150. Wow, it wasn't too far off, actually. Because Hallow, I believe, requires casting for an extended period of time. Casting time 24 hours. And it lasts until dispelled. Yes, let us do this. By 17th level, how many uses of Channel Divinity does a Cleric have? 2 still. Wow, that is a really slow improvement curve. You had a silly idea? I'll go for it. It can't be worse than what I'm about to type. Let's call it Safeguard for now. Expend 2 Channel Divinities to remove the monetary cost of Hallow. Yeah, we do love silly ideas. I mean, I personally think this whole thing is a silly idea that's gone too far that Onyx Pather still somehow lets me get away with. By the time you can cast Hallow, 1,000 gold pieces of random stuff isn't that much of a problem. Spend 2 Channel Divinities to add an additional effect to Hallow. Same rounds per day, as long as you are still conscious. Allies within 60 feet cannot go below 1 HP. I mean, it's a good idea. I would tweak it to be like I have to make a con save, or the first time they would be reduced to 0 hit points. But no, that's a great idea. Okay, so let's get started. I've got about 40 minutes left before I start the wrap up, so that the game after this can start on time. Right, I need to reword this. Bear with me 1 second. Whoop. It's my PDF scrolling noise, in case you hadn't guessed by now. And I just grab the scroll bar and throw it up or down. Page down to Cleric. Ooh, hello. Oh, right, that's what that is. That doesn't help any. Cool. Wonderful. Okay, so ignore this line. The Romans don't exist. That's my own personal world Patreon wording for magic. I'll just check the actual wording in this book. The SRD is probably the same wording, but I just want to check. Yeah, it is the same. Let's phrase this as did I really whiff that when I released the supplement? Am I really gonna have to edit and republish that Cleric subclass? Man, I just made work for myself here. Yep, sure do. Great. That's embarrassing. Not that anyone's really noticed. I have like 5 people who actually are subscribed to the Patreon. Anyway, 1st, 3rd, 5th, 7th, 9th, we get access to main skills. Yeah, so domain spells. So let's go for some explanation, I guess. Bless, kind of a group buff, supporting the community through your actions. Holy Beacon, which if you are not familiar with Holy Beacon, as I was not until yesterday. I mean, I'd read it because I've read the Scardlands Player's Guide, but once. Oh, would you believe that's Crash 2? I really, really would dearly love to know why my Acrobat Reader is not working properly. Let's not open that in that browser. There we go. I mean, it should be fine. I've showed PDFs on stream before, and also this is Onyx Path PDF, but there we go. Anyway. Spells. New spell descriptions, there we go. Although, I mean, you can probably tell from the name of the spell, it is a beacon. It is huge and very, very visible. 10,000 feet above your location. It goes quite a way up, let's say. Goes quite a way up. Remains for the duration of the spell, which is an hour, and it remains where you cast it. It can be seen for up to 30 miles on a clear day, and can be used as a teleportation kind of origin point. Signifier, locator, whatever you want to say. And also it draws the attention of those who share your faith, so they automatically see it. So, like, in and of itself, it's okay. It allows you to say there's sanctuary here, there's safety here, what have you. If you are playing that kind of game, comes into its own when you get to 9th level Cleric and you get the Holy Beacon's Answer spell, which lets you teleport to a beacon you can see. Aid, again, it's just about supporting the community. Warding Bond is one of those spells that it sounds really, 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 really cool, and it is, but it's also pretty dangerous because you take half the damage of the person that you form the bond with, but it's more of a personal one-on-one support. Beacon of Hope, again, just keeping the community hopeful. Tiny Hut, protecting your community of up to, I think it's 9 creatures of medium size or smaller. Faithful Hound is a guard dog, just magical. Locate creature, in case one of your community strays. Holy Beacon's Answer, I've covered. And Telepathic Bond lets you create telepathic bond between a small number of creatures. Honestly, that was the one I was less sure of than any others, but I feel like I should also point out that I have a background in the arts. I can argue pretty much anything. But Telepathic Bond, like, a community that works close enough together doesn't have to communicate with words anymore. They just anticipate, don't they, right? That's what Telepathic Bond does on this gov. Anyway, Community Watch. At 3rd level, you are aware of potential potential threats to your community. You gain proficiency. Oh, let's go insight as well. In the insight, that's nowhere close to how that word is spelled. And also, if anyone wants to challenge me on my BS, please, please, please feel free to do so. Otherwise, the power will go to my head, and this headset won't fit anymore. And the insight and perception skills. From 3rd level, you can teach others what to look out for when protecting their own communities. When a non-hostile creature is it's a wisdom perception check. Use your reaction, even if asleep. Let's say even if unconscious or incapacitated. Hang on. I believe the incapacitated condition automatically conveys the unconscious condition, or the other way around. I only need one of these words. That is nowhere near where I want to be looking in this book. There we go. Unconscious. Even if you are unconscious. Let's say within 30 feet of you. You may use your action to allow that creature to use your wisdom perception modifier in place of their own. You know what? Let's add the insight as well. Let's tie the two things together. Why not? I like tying things together. It reinforces them. In which case this needs to come first because of the alphabet. Does it work when sleeping? Yes. My rationale there being that it's not you doing the thing, it is them remembering what you have taught them. The reaction is simply just so that it doesn't get weird. Although I admit that being able to do it when you're asleep makes it weird. I think that's one line. Yeah. Whoops. Formatting Y. When sleeping, you're unconscious but not incapacitated. Oh, sorry, I appreciate that, yes, but there's no condition for sleeping, I believe. That I've ever noticed, anyway. I'm doubting myself. No, there isn't. It isn't. I'm unconscious creatures are incapacitated. I get what you're saying, that kind of asleep is technically a different thing. But incapacitated in the game rules is you just can't do it. You can't take actions or reactions. But yes, unconscious is a condition, as is incapacitated. They have discrete mechanical effects in these game rules. So to quote, an unconscious creature is incapacitated, see the condition. Can't move or speaks, is unaware of its surroundings, and all of that. Like a decent amount of extra stuff. But yeah, this is more them remembering what you taught them than you giving them any kind of supernatural effect. Obviously, it is weird. I appreciate that. I don't know if I'll leave it as is. Sorry for the confusion. Again, feel free to challenge me on this. This is all my stream of consciousness ideas. From 6th level. So weird, we should add in the sleep. We really should. Because, I mean, obviously there are very few effects that actually cause a creature to fall asleep. But they just use the unconscious condition. Which I guess makes sense, because if you're asleep, you're not going to be able to take actions or reactions, are you? But then, kind of, it's commonly accepted that you can make perception checks when asleep to hear things. So is that's one of those floating reactions? Sleep, but you're not unaware of you. Exactly. Yeah, it's weird. I guess the idea is that passive perception is accepted because, oh yeah, unaware of your surroundings. Yeah. Huh. Hang on. Nope. Where's that? Like 2 paragraphs. There we go. Yeah, because the book never explains sleep until you go to the sleep spell, and then the sleep spell specifies that that they are unconscious, which means they are unaware of their surroundings. But yeah, when you sleep, you hear stuff around you all the time. It wakes me up constantly. Well, not constantly, but I'm a light sleeper. Yes. Seems like an oversight. Yeah, the whole point of the show is to discuss the game being written for Unstable Tales. Don't apologise for it. I'm gesturing at my monitor, which is why I keep pointing towards the camera. All of this is just background to provide discussion material. All PCs are Chuck Norris. They don't sleep. They merely wait. Oh, no, that's a terrifying thought. Anyway, sorry, I was just having like a way of the ranger for the monks. Anyway, moving on. From 6th level, right? I need to decide what effect this will actually have before I write the fiction, the narrative. So, Mobile Guardian. Back to basics. Back to first principles. Is Guardian of Faith covered by the SRD? I can't imagine that it isn't. But it's always worth checking these things. Guardian of Faith is covered by the SRD. So for those of you who don't know, Guardian of Faith is a spell that conjures a large creature, so it occupies a 10 foot by 10 foot cube. The creature cannot move. It just kind of automatically deals damage and then disappears after either 8 hours have passed or a set amount of damage has been dealt. Yeah. Man, Hollow Legionnaires are really cool. Also, the Wretched Redeemed from the preview for Dead Man's Rust, but I have some concerns about those, but I'm assuming they'll be laid to rest by the release of the actual book. Gotta go get pretty for the stream. You don't need to get pretty, you already are, but sure, why not? Yeah, so Guardian of Faith could use Ground Divinity to cast a Guardian of Faith that can move and patrol the camp area. Sticks around for 8 hours, does less damage. But at this point it's just replicating Faithful Hound. Hang on, just to recheck what Faithful Hound does. Phantom Watchdog lasts for 8 hours. Invisible to all creatures except you can't be harmed. Oh, right, yeah, this one needs the password where it stops barking loudly. Does damage. Okay, that's really cool. It's a cool spell. So this is a 6th level thing. When do you get Faithful Hound? 7th, the level afterwards. Okay, so because of Faithful Hound being a thing... Oh, for those of you who don't know, domain spells in more detail. So clerics, druids, and paladins, unlike other spellcasting classes, they prepare their spells on a daily basis. So they have access to an entire spell list at any time. They prepare them at the end of a long rest. Domain spells and oath spells with the paladin that I also did earlier. Those are spells that you always have prepared that don't take up, like they don't count against the limit spells you can prepare. Which I believe in every case it is your spellcasting ability modifier plus your level. And then you'll always have your domain or oath spells prepared. If you're a druid, some druid circles come with extra spells as well, and that's the same principle. So Faithful Hound is always prepared. It is not a ritual, I believe. It is not a ritual, but it only takes 1 action to cast, so it's like, boom, invisible doggo, best boy. It's 4th level spell, so yeah, middling level. So the mobile guardian of faith channel divinity would simply kind of act as a support to that rather than a replacement. Ideally, I just can't think of any way that doesn't make it a replacement. But the Hollow Legionnaires, I don't believe Hollow Legionnaires need sleep, but like most other races do. So it might be, I might take that. I'll take that approach. You do not need to eat, breathe, or sleep unless you wish to do so to gain some beneficial effect. Yes. So Hollow Legionnaires, for those who don't know, are like technically constructs. You are a living soul bound to a suit of armor, essentially. It's cool. It's rad. The art for the Hollow Legionnaires is usually my favorite. Like just throughout the entire game line, this is a really cool aesthetic. So you don't need to sleep. Magic can't put you to sleep, but you can sleep if you wish. So yes, let's go with. I think we'll go with that angle. Let's go with from 6th level you can imbue your allies with the energy needed to protect their community. I think this is usually like, as an action, you can present your holy symbol, but I just want to check the wording. Maybe I've just got too many windows open. Maybe that's why Adobe can't cope. Whoop. That's the PDF scrolling noise again. I make a lot of random noises, I'm sorry. It's anything to avoid dead air. Channel Divinity. There we go. As an action, you present your holy symbol and do something. As an action, you present your holy symbol and do something. Whoops, that's the wrong button. There we go. And honestly, if you're any kind of content creator and you don't make random noises and talk to yourself, are you really a content creator? As an action, you present your holy symbol. Use a creature of your choice within 5 feet with holy energy. this effect, this feature. This creature it's dark vision with a range of 60 feet for the next 8 hours. They require only do not require sleep during a long rest. Do not require sleep for the duration. Does that work? Does that convey everything succinctly and clearly? Does not. Whoops. Put the cursor in the wrong place, that's my bad. This creature gains dark vision with a range of 60 feet for the next 8 hours and does not require sleep for the duration. No, that is not the correct wording. You know what? As an action at the don't want to tie it to long rests. This creature gains dark vision with a range of 60 feet for the next 8 hours, and it must stand watch for the duration of this effect to gain the benefits of a long rest, if used during a long rest. With a range of and does not require sleep for the next 8 hours. I'm trying to figure out a way of mechanically expressing this clearly and in the kind of like style of the game. So a long rest is a period of like 8 hours or so, 2 of which you can spend in light activity, but most racers need 6 hours of sleep a night. Some require less, some don't even require sleep at all. And if you don't get that 6 hours of sleep, you can have a break up to an hour for strenuous activity like fighting or casting spells and things. But if you don't get that 6 hours of sleep, you gain 1 level of exhaustion. 6 levels of exhaustion kill you. I touched on this briefly with the barbarian last stream, so I don't want to go over all that again. But I'm just trying to express this in terms of long rest. Let's try this. Creature gains dark vision with a range of 60 feet for the next 8 hours and must stand watch in place of sleeping for the duration of a long rest to gain the benefits of, I guess, the long rest. I think that works better. Still not entirely happy with it. So, like, they don't sleep, they just stand... They have to be on guard, but they don't need to sleep. I don't know why this is the wrong heading. Probably happened when I messed up this heading. Oh, that's second level. Whoops. Right. Clerics get them at first level. I'm so used to subclasses coming in at third level, but clerics get them at first. Mechanically speaking, would they need to sleep the next night? I would say no, as it's divine energy that's providing the... Like, it's divine restorative energy that's keeping them... That's giving them this ability. But, equally, my whole problem with elves having to meditate for 4 hours. It's like, oh yeah, you're just going to stand and there's an expectation that they'll stand watch for 4 hours of a night, which is just not great. A creature may not benefit from this feature more than one. Gosh, how do you even word this? Oh, for 2 consecutive long rests. There we go. Just to prevent people being like, yep, you're the guardian, go ahead. Okay, I guess. Mostly because it doesn't feel good, and it always, to me, it always feels like that character is being forced into standing guard. Also, as with anything, like if you buy this document and you want to use the community domain and you want one person of your party to be the guard every time, go ahead. I can't stop you. Like change the rules to suit you. That's all homebrew is, really. Community content wouldn't exist if we weren't allowed to change the rules. Heck, new games wouldn't arise nearly as often if the rules had to be adhered to. At 6th level, you are able to nourish a small community through your faith. My thought was without a limit, the targeted creature would never require sleep again. Well, you'd have to keep using this feature over and over again on them. And they'll still need to eat as well. Not eating incurs exhaustion penalties. But that's a fair point as well in Stable Deus. I mean, there's precedence for not needing to sleep, so it's not too big a deal, I guess. But it's just there for fun more than anything. At 6th level, you are able to nourish a small community for your faith. As an action, you present your holy symbol. Oh, also I should probably make reference to expanding use of Channel Divinity. Oh, wait, yeah, it's just implied in the title of the feature. Whoops. Cool. As an action, you present your holy symbol and summon a small feast. The feast contains enough fresh food. Oh. Water for up to 10 people. And lasts for... and fades away, let's say. Disappears after an hour. Disappears. Anyone who spends that hour partaking of the feast gains temporary hit points equal to your, let's say, wisdom modifier plus proficiency bonus. Plus even. Your proficiency bonus. And until the net of the next long rest, till the end of the next long rest. Whenever they would regain hit points, they gain an additional number of hit points. Let's say equal to half your proficiency bonus. Again, as I mentioned last time, I like using proficiency bonus for things because it reflects a growing skill and training and experience rather than just raw talent. At 6th level, you're able to nourish a small community through your faith. As an action, you present your holy symbol and summon a small feast. The feast contains enough fresh food and water for up to 10 people and disappears after an hour. Anyone who spends that hour partaking of the feast gains temporary hit points equal to your wisdom plus your wisdom modifier. Whoops, that would have been awkward. Plus your proficiency bonus, and until the end of the next long rest, whenever they regain hit points, they regain an additional number of hit points equal to half your proficiency bonus. I just caught my desk with my finger. Ow. Shield the community. This was 8th level, and then Safeguard 17th. I'll just drop that down here. I've got at, I've got from. Okay. Beginning at 8th level, you are better able to defend those who look to you for guidance. Oops, a daisy. Okay, so this is obviously the one that was a bit weird because I can have damage reduction, I can have a reaction to gain resistance to damage. I might go with an aura effect. So if the Endless Banquet was used and the Cure spell was used on the friendly reason, the recipient gets both the Cure benefit as well as the additional benefit. Yeah, so Cure Wounds, level 1 spell, 1d8 plus spellcasting ability modifier, and then after Endless Banquet, you also add your half your proficiency bonus to that. Healing Potion, 2d4 plus 2, plus half your proficiency bonus. Lay on Hands, you'd get some use out of, because they get extra healing from that. Without consuming extra hit points from Lay on Hands. What are the sources of healing? Those are the three main ones. Hit dice expenditure becomes a lot more cost effective. Actually, hit dice expenditure does become a lot more cost effective. Ooh, didn't think that one through. Well, actually, it's only an extra, what, at 6th level, 1 hit point per hit die. Yeah, that's fine, actually. If it were the full proficiency bonus, now that would get ridiculous, but it's not. So I think it's fine as is. I'm leaning more towards an aura of just damage reduction with this. So there's a feat in the player's handbook that lets you ignore the first 3 points of non-magical bludgeoning, piercing, or slashing damage, which is possible. So I'm thinking, I don't want to use a reaction because that, again, that's more of a single target effect. Maybe. Oh, actually, thinking about it. No. Gotcha. Okay, so, as a reaction, taken when a creature within, let's say 30 feet of you is hit with a... No, not hit with a successful attack because sometimes attacks do more than one type of damage. Takes damage from a source you can see. Oops. you may allow that creature and all non-hostile creatures within 30 feet that you can see. To reduce damage taken, yeah, I guess damage taken from that damage type. Of that damage type? I think of is better than from. Are there readily available methods to perceive an invisible creature? There is Seen Visibility, which is a spell. It's a 2nd level spell. Other than that, no. But the important thing here is that you can see what's causing the damage so that you can protect against that cause. So, like, this wouldn't necessarily work against the poisoned blade the first time, but if you know an enemy uses poisoned weapons and you can see that it's like a sword strike is having more of an effect than you would imagine a sword strike to normally have, you can logically infer that there is poison involved. Why did I type or? Of that damage type. By an amount equal to... Wisdom modifier would make sense as a cleric. But then it gets kind of broken because you could be at +5 already. Well, standard array, you'd be at what? I think you'd be at +5 by now. Okay, I just want to understand the significance of CNC invisibility. Obviously, that's such a thing we've seen. Yes. Like, you can see the sword, so you can grant the effect against the sword doing damage, but as I say, if you know that the sword is likely poisoned, you could also do that. But I can't really easily put that into, like, that sentence. What was I looking for? Ability score increases. Cleric table. There we go. Yes, actually at this level you are quite likely to hit your capstone in wisdom, so +5. Again, I could just tie it into like half proficiency bonus, or I could just say reduce it by a flat amount. Or, because by this point you've got 2 uses of Channel Divinity, reduce it by an amount equal to the remaining uses of Channel Divinity +1. Because this is a faith-based effect essentially, and that's Channel Divinity is obviously the manifestation is the manifestation of faith. I'm kind of tempted to do that. By an amount equal to number of remaining uses of Channel Divinity +1. This is obviously kind of a bit weird. I don't think anything does this in the game, but that's the perfect thing for this kind of thing to do. So, as a reaction when taken when a creature within 30 feet who takes damage from a source you can see, you may allow that creature and all non-hostile creatures within 30 feet that you can see, within 30 feet of you that you can see. Let us move that here. I was hoping to finish the cleric today, but it doesn't look like I will be able to because I need to do the outro. But I will try. I've got like 5 minutes left before I should start doing outro stuff. And all non-hostile creatures that you can see. There we go. Oh, I just put it in the wrong place. That's my problem. Within 30 feet of you, to reduce damage taken that damage type. That's a weird, extremely clunky phrasing. And effects, you generally have a time limit for obvious reasons. To reduce damage taken of that damage type, that is horrendous. Unfortunately, because it's such an open-ended thing, it's the problem. Interesting. Unfortunately, I've got nothing to say that won't just be me going, yes, that's interesting, yes, damage of that damage type. Would a poison blade be slashing poison damage? Typically, a poison blade would be an amount of slashing damage, and then the target creature would make a Constitution saving throw, and if they failed the saving throw, then they'd take the poison damage. There are certainly things that will do slashing and poison damage. I think there's a magical dagger that does that, or could do that quite easily. But like a traditionally poisoned blade, there's a save against the poison damage. The thing is, I don't think there's any existing that I have access to right now quickly any precedents for something that does this. Usually it's a AC increase. Enchanted weapon recover the physical damage and the magical effect like fire acid. Yes, yeah, like flame tongue, frostbrand, etc. Still don't like that phrasing. It is taunting me. The words, they hate me. Honestly, like sometimes when I'm writing mostly when I'm doing Patreon material, because that's all I really have time for outside of these streams to do homebrew content. I get to instances like this and I just end up like not really screaming, but mock screaming at my computer in frustration. Like, why have you forsaken me, computer? And brain, for that matter. It's not the computer's fault. What about against all damage from the damage source? Yeah, I might have to do that. But it's one of those things where like you might not get much use out of that because it might be focusing on a single target. Whereas I want to embrace the community side of things. I don't think there's a clean way to do this in one sentence, so I'm not going to say in one sentence. Okay, so to reduce that damage by an amount equal to a number of remaining uses, channel damage plus 1. So yeah, it's just going to have to be 2 sentences. That creature, or non-hostile creatures exceed within 30 feet of you. I guess gain this benefit against all instances of that damage type until the start of your next turn. Incorrect punctuation throwing me off, my bad. As a reaction taken when a creature within 30 feet of you takes damage from a source that you can see, you may allow that creature to reduce that damage by an amount equal to your number of remaining uses of Channel Divinity +1. Until the start of your next turn, that creature and all non-hostile creatures that you can see within 30 feet of you gain this benefit against all instances of that damage type. I think that works reasonably well. I'm happier with that. Yeah, just a single damage type, so like slashing or poisoning. Poison even. Because otherwise it would just be you have a flat reduction to damage until the start of your next turn. Which I'm not averse to, it just feels weird. Usually things like this are against non-magical damage as well, but because this is a faith-based effect, I wanted it to apply to any damage type, as long as you can see the source of the damage. Which gets weird when it's a ranged spell that would be like invisible because it's psychic damage or force damage, but... I think that's the best it's going to get. I'm just staring at words now, and I've really got to wrap up so that Travis et al. Can start at 11. Yeah, I think I'm okay with that. The way I'm parsing this is it's like you see a weapon attack, and you throw up a magic, like a faith of a divine shield against that specific type of attack that just applies for a limited period of time to anyone within range, regardless of the source of the damage itself. Because here the important thing is the damage, not the source. And like 1, 2, or 3 a damage reduction of 1, 2, or 3 doesn't seem that much, but against multi-attack and multiple opponents, it does add up. Anyway, okay, I need to wrap up so that the post roll has time to post roll. Okay, so far freaking stutter. Sorry about that. So today, did a bard. Pretty happy with that. I'm not going to make the obvious joke. Pretty happy with the Bard subclass. Got most of the way through a Cleric subclass. I'm mostly happy with it. There's still stuff I'm not entirely happy with, but I'll try to fix those. And if I can think of something better, I'll fix it. If not, hopefully there'll be playtesting of people buying the supplement and providing feedback. A single greatest kind of upset of mine is that I rarely get to playtest anything I make. Just because I don't have the time or the network to do so. Anyway, that's, problems that really aren't that big in the grand scheme of things. There are worse problems out there. So we've done, I would say, like 1.5 subclasses, round up to 1.5 to be generous. So we've probably got 6 or 7 more weeks of this on subclasses, and then probably 1 or 2 on the player races, although I might do the narrative for the player races off stream. But I appreciate everyone for bearing with me through this, because it is such a mechanically heavy game compared to Story Path or Storyteller. It does require a lot more thought and like careful consideration of wording than the Story Path and Storyteller systems. So, friendly reminder that the Monday meeting notes are the place to find updates on Onyx Path projects and Kickstarters, and there is a Kickstarter running right now, Dead Man's Rust, a level 1 through 10 campaign for Scarred Lands. There we go, those are the 2 links. It is not just the campaign, it has subclasses, spells, magic items, player races, and as is the case with most Onyx Path Kickstarters, you can, in fact, download preview documents throughout the entirety of the campaign on, I think, It says every Monday they'll be posting something. So you've got the introduction, chapter 1, and appendix 1, which has some player races and player classes in right now, if you back it. If you are like me and not based in America, it's probably way cheaper to back it at the PDF level that gets your a print on demand at cost code, and just wait for the print on demand version when that comes out. Alas, international shipping is horrendously expensive. If you have any feedback, thoughts, criticisms, questions, etc. about what I've covered today, my process, anything else you can think of, please do feel free to reach out. I'm on Twitter at Comrade Bubbles. I'm on Twitch at Comrade Bubbles. Well, not at. I stream as Comrade Bubbles. And I do hang out on the Onyx Path server. I check the Onyx Path server reasonably fairly regularly. I just don't post that often. So if you want to chat, there are numerous ways you can chat. I am in fact streaming on my own channel shortly. It will not be role-playing related. Well, I mean, technically it will be, but it's video game stuff. But I'm always happy to talk role-playing and things like that. Anything to talk about, really. Thank you all for watching. This show would not exist without the community, and it makes me happy that the community is growing. So thank you everyone. It's good for the morale, let's say. I do this show bi-weekly, I believe is the commonly accepted word, or fortnightly, if you're more familiar with that term, outside of, obviously, Battle Royale. So the next show will, in fact, be the 8th of December, and then maybe the 22nd, and then that's it for the year. So there are 2 left in the year. Where did this year go? It has been the longest decade of my life. That joke is still not old. It probably is. But I will also be hanging out in chat for 5 minutes or so while the post-roll rolls, if you do want to type out any questions or provide any feedback, or just chat. And then, as I say, I'll move over to my own stream, and I'll be hanging out there. But thank you everyone for watching. Really appreciate it. This will go up in a week's time on my YouTube channel, if you've come in at the end and want to watch the start. And you'll need to be a subscriber on the Twitch channel if you want to watch it before that week is up. Because there is a week's exclusivity for Twitch subscribers, which does get you, emotes, and as well as the 1 week exclusivity. But for now, that is it. Until I see you, well, until you see me, I guess it's not a two-way mirror, two-way street. Until you see me again, as is my want on my own channel to say, please do stay safe, please do stay healthy, and in these extremely, the world's getting slowly better, but in these extremely trying times, please do be positive and wholesome. The world needs it right now. See ya.